Hey, how is it going? So, in this video I have some interesting testing I want to do with some new products here from good old Mishimoto. And yeah, I want to see if certain things work here on the EV Mustang. So, what we're going to do is unbox these mystery items here, and I'm going to explain exactly what I have planned for the Mustang. Alright, now you might be asking yourself, what could I possibly have gotten that's in this small little box? What could it be? What kind of dumb thing am I doing now? Actually, I don't think this is dumb at all, and this is something I've been wondering myself for a very long time now, and I've tried something similar to this, but with the wrong type of product on the SHO. And while the results weren't ideal, they still technically worked regardless, even though it was the wrong product. So right here, see what that is? This is a reflective heat shield, and my goal here is to see if wrapping the pipes, the intake pipe and the charge pipes, with a material like this will help reduce heat soak and ultimately keep the IATs and post intercooler temps consistently cooler. So that's why I bought these products, to do the testing and figure out if something like this is actually beneficial. So at Mishimoto, they sell a couple different types of these material. They have like this, I guess what they call it, aluminum? Yeah, aluminum silica heat barrier. So this is actually really good for radiant protection. It's like over 2,000 degrees of radiant heat protection from this material. They also have a gold one. So when you're doing these type of things, and I've learned through my mistakes that there are two different types of materials. There's what's called a isolator, i.e. something like this, which prevents heat from getting in, and then something like, you know, header wrap or exhaust wrap here is an insulator to prevent heat from getting out. So now that I got the products unboxed, let's go over to the car now, and I kind of tell you some of the ideas I have and what I want to use the product for. So I definitely want to wrap the intake here. This is definitely pipe that's getting wrapped. Probably just going to wrap the metal part here. You know, probably it's going to be right here, this whole section. Because it's just kind of, unless, I mean, I could do the whole pipe, I guess. I would just have to cut out around the sensor and everything, but you know, I just kind of want to use patches to see if it helps, because when the car gets heat soaked, I know that definitely this part of the pipe does get hot. And it's a large section of pipe the air has to travel through, so it probably does affect the temp just a little bit. I'm on the fence what to do about the hot side charge piping. Naturally, this pipe does get hot anyway. It's just, you know, all the compressed air coming out of the turbocharger. So I'm not sure what to do with this, if it's even beneficial to cover it at all, because then it has no way to dissipate heat. But on the flip side of that, it also creates a lot of heat because it gets hot, you know, and it's right here next to the exhaust. So do you cover this with an insulating material, an isolating material, or just leave it alone? I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this. I may just leave this one alone altogether. And actually what I probably will do is just wrap the intake and the cold side piping, because obviously that's more important to keep the temps as cool as possible, because that's after your intercooler. So yeah, I think that's more or less what we'll do, and see if there's any difference. Since I made the changes with the intake filter and adding the extension pipe that goes down in here, my IATs are, while moving consistently, within 1 or 2 degrees, if not exactly at ambient temperature at this sensor here. The temperature after the intercooler is generally somewhere within 15-25 degrees. That's normal to see for me with this intercooler. If I can change those numbers in any amount, then I know that there was a beneficial change. So I guess what we can do now is to start disassembling some of this and getting the wrap on the tubing here. And yeah, I guess then we can go and do the fun part and test and see if there's any difference. So this stuff's pretty straightforward. It's got an adhesive backing underneath this white protective paper piece. I'm not going to undo the whole backing. I don't want to gum up the part here with a bunch of adhesive, but what I will do is just kind of peel back a certain amount, something like that, right? So what happens is when I roll it over itself, it sticks to itself and, you know, creates a roll. So where it doesn't actually touch, the adhesive doesn't touch the pipe and mess it all up. So it'll be on the car or something like that. Geez, I'm dropping everything. That don't look too bad. You know, definitely looks OEM, right? Now I could probably cut a little strip and put here as well. I guess that wouldn't hurt. So let's do that real quick. Alright. Hey, that ain't too bad now, is it? Not too bad at all. So now that we got this piece done, I guess now it's time to go get the cold charged piece on. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that off camera, and then when I'm done, come back and update the video. Alright, so I have things covered. I know it isn't the prettiest thing. See, the problem here is, and I guess if I took my time and made the right cuts, I could have made this fit a whole lot better, but it's still covering the tube, and covers it pretty much all the way down to the bottom. Pretty much anywhere heat's going to be an issue, it's covered. Definitely serves more of a purpose than just looks. So now that I have both pipes wrapped, I guess now it's time to just put things back together and we can get to testing. Well, here we are. It's all on and ready to roll. So I'm going to monitor everything a few different ways, mainly here with the SCTX4. You know, I'm not going to do any logs, but you know, I'm just going to take a peek every now and again and monitor the gauges here that the car gives me. And then the only other thing I'm going to do is when I come back, I'm going to take the infrared thermometer and I'm going to measure each areas and see if the parts that are being covered have any significant external difference in temperature. I think that'll be a good way to tell as well. All right, so right now, outside temp is 76, inlet air temp is 76, IAT2's 75. And also it's a little warm. Actually, I probably had the windows down. I just didn't want to get too much air going, but when you turn the AC on, the AC condenser usually heat soaks the intercooler. And, well, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drive around a while and get some heat in the car, and then I'll give you an update with the information I get here from all of the sources. All right, update on the temps. If we look and see there, inlet air temp at the filter, 103 degrees. It was 98 degrees when I parked just a minute ago. Still 72 degrees outside. Unfortunately, I had to turn the AC on because I had to make a phone call and have the windows up. IAT2's 114 degrees. Oh, just jumped to 116. Now, why is that? Well, unfortunately, we had some failure in the wrap, and that's more or less my fault the way I put it on. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So, things look a bit different than they did. The problem was, this is the part that was covering the cold side charge pipe, and it just kind of, once it heated up, it came loose from itself. The adhesive loosened up, and yeah. But there is actually a difference here in temp. Here, let me go get the infrared thermometer. All right, so let's see. 104, 103, 102, about 103 on the part with the foil. And oh wow, that's a big difference. Huh. Let's see, let's check over here. 94, 98. Let's check right where the sensor is. 118. Interesting. Now I'm gonna see if I can kind of like slide back this. I'm gonna kind of see if I can get the temp under there. 117. Yeah. So it's not really doing too much as a thermal barrier, not like I thought it would. I mean, from an exterior standpoint, yes, it's doing great as a radiant, keeping the heat away, as you can see here. But the pipe even underneath of this is still hot. And of course, I'm sure that's because once the exposed parts get hot, you know, the heat transfers through the whole piece. So I guess that kind of negates anything I do in these little sections here, which is kind of something I didn't even think about at first, but that's why you do some testing, right? So now I am really curious to know what I can do, and I guess that would be to completely cover these pipes where there is no air gaps or anything. That would probably be the best thing to do, because otherwise it's really not going to be as effective as I want it to be. Hey, but you live and learn. I would have never have thought that if I didn't do it myself. Now, of course, this test isn't as thorough as it possibly could have been. You know, I'm an everyday guy, I have everyday things to do, and these videos kind of go in between those things. So, you know, I think I did my best to try to see if this was a worthwhile modification and show the differences. One thing I can say is I noticed at the beginning of the drive, and this was before I realized that the top or the bottom charge pipe piece came off, that the temps seemed to recover very quickly. You know, I was in stop and go traffic. I would stop, you would see the temps go up a few, and then as soon as you start moving, the intake air temp would drop immediately back down to ambient, and the charge temp was a few degrees cooler than I would normally see it. Once again, if there was a difference that I could have measured, it was probably minimal, so it wasn't like a drastic difference, but either way, that's what I found out. Of course, there are many other ways to cool your intake air temps, and there is a alternative method that's not commonly used that I might be exploring in the future, so you just have to keep a lookout for that. But either way, that will be it for this video. So hopefully you liked the video and learned something from it. I know I did. And if you did like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share with everyone you know. If you want to see more content like this and you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout for the next true car enthusiast video.